Yo, so we're back with another one, and I want to show you my world specifically because a lot of the times um, you don't really know exactly when people say that I'm a mechanic. Let me show you some of the things or some of these projects that I have that I'm actually working on. So this right here, ignore all the things on top of it. You will soon learn when dealing with a lot of mechanics that they just place things in certain places because it's close to a specific job. For example, this seat right here, this seat, it actually goes to that motorcycle right there that I'm working on, but this was in close proximity to here, so this is where it got placed as a staging location. Anyway, this motor right here is a motor that I'm working on for my 1968 Plymouth Barracuda, and that has been a 5-year long project. Currently right now the motor is basically finished. I just have to tie down the headers and pull it all together. This is a pulling together phase right here. Just once I pull it all together, it'll be fine. And right now the car is getting painted. However, let's move. This is another project that I'm currently working on. This project, in fact, is a 2009 Honda, and it's a R1000, and I have to basically take this motor and put it inside of this chassis and crank up this entire motor. So that's gonna be fun. And yeah, this has been a project just within itself because this is some complicated stuff. Like, it's extremely complicated. I have to figure out how to time this motor. I have to figure out how to do different things to make sure that it runs better and faster, and it's just, there's just a lot going on here. And as you can see, there's 1,000 different pieces on the table. Just, there's a lot that's happening here. So that's one motor, right? Here's another project where I managed to stop the headers from leaking water, and here we are. I put the motor back into the chassis, got it all together, but now I have to put gas in it and try my best to get this thing cranking, and hopefully that it cranks well. Moving on, more projects. This is a 2008 Honda 1000 RR, which is the same as the original one that we saw over here on the table, the orange bike. This one just needs to tune up. It's skipping a little bit, I would say, so I'm gonna see if I can change the spark plugs and tune it up. My hope is that I don't have to drop the motor and go in, change the valves, the timing on the valves, the spacing on the valves. That's my hope. This Hayabusa over here, Suzuki Hayabusa, I just finished putting it together. It's not complete. However, I did crank it up. It is running. It's doing pretty well. Let's move over here to the right. This is a Suzuki 1000. I'm sorry. It's a Suzuki 600. Please forgive me. I bought this bike back from a customer. It needed to be timed. I timed it. I got it running, but now it won't run anymore for some reason. It has like a little clicking noise to it, or it won't crank at all. So I have to figure out what's going on with it. We're moving on. Like, there's mad stuff. So here's another thing. There's always something to do around here. Like, there's no reason for me to ever be not busy because there's something to do. There's constantly something to do. This engine right here, this engine needs to be timed. It just needs to simply be timed in. Once I time it in and synchronize it, this motor is going to run perfectly okay. I just have to adjust the valves on it and we'll be fine. Now, that orange motor that you can see back here, that's another motor that needs to be timed. Once I time it in, it'll work out pretty well, but timing is always a complicated thing because timing is basically the timing of how the motor is going to rotate, because if the motor doesn't rotate properly, it could lock up. And that's a problem that a lot of people have when it comes to putting motors together of any type, whether it's a motor for a car, motorcycle, four-wheeler, whatever it is. The timing is very important. just because it's the synchronization of the motor and how the motor rotates and turns. So yeah, timing is a big issue. This is a car motor that I'm working on, where I have my mechanic actually working on it, and he's supposed to put the motor inside, and the motor is in here, the transmission is in here, as you all can see. However, we have to tighten everything up. The mechanic, my mechanic is actually working on that one right now, and once he gets done with it, I'll be able to finish it and sell it and put it all together. So yeah, there's so much going on that I don't think that people really understand and or realize. But let's take this old school motor right here. Come on down. Let's take this old school motor, for example. This is I want to say this is a 69, 68. It could be a 95. Yes, this is a 1999 Suzuki Intruder. It's a 600 model. So I disassembled this entire motor. Now, mind you, V-twin is not my specialty, but I disassembled the entire thing and I put it all back together. My biggest problem now is I have to get it to crank, and it was turning over and cranking. Guess what? It doesn't fire, and the motor needs fire in order to run. And guess what else? They don't make parts for this vehicle anymore. So now I have to scavenge the world looking for parts on eBay and any other resources that I can come into contact with, just to simply find parts for this vehicle so I can put it together, get it to run, potentially sell it, or the goal is to sell it or give it away, donate it. I don't know. Make it an antique, Sean. But at this point, make it an antique. On top of the fact, I don't even know if you guys can see this, but do you see this little hole right here? This rust spot? If you look at this rust spot right here, this rust spot is bad. I can't feel this rust spot. I can't do anything with this rust spot. And the reason why this is bad, another reason why I'm looking for parts, is because the bike can't run without a tank. But also, this bike can't be finished until I find a tank that can fix this rust spot. Because otherwise, the rust is gonna drain into the motor, which is gonna cause me to start this process all over again of taking the motor apart, cleaning it. So, yes, that's what's going on with this motor in general. It's a lot. Okay, so now we're moving on to another motor. As you can see, if you haven't figured out by now, one of the biggest things for me is being able to disassemble motors and then put them back together. But as with all mechanics, everybody needs something disassembled, everybody needs something put back together. Now, the interesting part about how intricate our minds work is that somehow or another, we are capable of taking pieces that would essentially not go anywhere and making them fit somewhere, and then making it work. So this is another motor that I am currently working on, and as you can see, it is completely disassembled. You got crankshafts, transmissions, you got nuts, bolts. It is completely disassembled. Now, the average person would look at that and they'd say, oh, how are you gonna put all that back together? Well, once you do it long enough, you'll get to a place where it becomes second nature to you. So yes, I know how to put and take this entire thing right here and put it all back together. So that's one of the gifts. Whenever you do mechanics long enough, you start to be able to function and figure things out like that. Tire machine, tire balancer. So there's just, this place is just full of toys and full of what I would call different opportunities for sure. there isn't really anything in here that I can show you per se. That's just the parts room, so we're gonna get out of there. And yeah, so I want to say that that's it. That is it. If you know anybody, or if you have any tips or tricks for me, if you have any resources that can assist with being able to better organize, better do work, whatever it is, if you have anything, let me know, because anything helps and all things add value, I believe, and all things are an opportunity. So if it works out that way, then we shall see. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one, and we out. Peace. Hope you enjoyed it. Oh, by the way, please follow and subscribe and be on the lookout for more. I'll see you in the next one. We out.